here, on the very rim of known space, justice is a long way away.
I wonder if my microphone is good enough to pick up the gulp I just did while that was going. I think it might have been. Hi, everybody.
I can tell you.
Hi, everybody. Well, if you guys didn't hear it, then maybe it's a good thing. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Space Game Junkie podcast. I, as always, am your co-host, Brian. Sadly, Spaz is not feeling great today, so he's not joining us. Send all the positive healing vibes Spaz's way. However you do that, so he feels better as soon as possible. But joining us is your co-host, Julie.
Hello from the Midwest, where the ice is gone from the streets to the courtroom.
Damn. Oh, I mean, you don't live in Wisconsin, so I mean, it can't be that.
Next state over.
I know. They're just setting it up for more of that. Also joining us is your co-host, Thorsten.
Hello, and spring decided to be summer today.
Oh, really? How warm is it up there?
It was 27 degree when I was.
Holy crap! That's very warm. That's a lot of C's. That's too many.
So literally, 50 minutes ago. That's crazy.
It's night there. It shouldn't be that warm at night there. Oh God.
It's not night yet, but it's later evening.
Oh, it's apparently Chris says it's 22 over in the UK. Oh my God. You're getting. We'll be getting your heat in maybe 6 months. Also joining us is your co-host Jacob.
I'm alive.
Aren't we all? Some would say, unfortunately. And finally, your co-host David.
I can't believe we're almost halfway through 2020.
I don't know about you guys. Just a side note, but was April a slog for you guys as well? Like April felt like 4 months to me. Like April was so long.
It was a nightmare absolutely. For a variety of reasons.
It was so long, and it's not even the longest month. But it felt so long. I don't even know why. It's just such a flash by. Well, that's good, Chris, because it did not flash by for me. Oh my God! It's like wow. It was so long. All right. Anyway, folks, we have a topic today that I want to talk about because I find as I get older and I get more and more aware of my own mortality, I lean more toward games that value and respect my time. And I'm playing fewer and fewer games that I don't feel respect my time. For example, I'm playing fewer racing games. I love racing games, but so many times the races, like you can't save in the middle of them. We'll talk about that. You can't and whatnot. So, God damn it! Why are they calling me now? Call them back. So, like I'm playing fewer racing games because like you can't stop, you can't quit. It's like I get more anxious the more I play a race because like they last. Oh, they just like just about any race in any racing game just lasts so long. So yeah, I'm finding myself gravitating more toward games that respect my time, and I wanted to talk about how a game, like what elements of a game show that it respects your time, and then what games are good and not good at it. So the first element I wanted to talk about in games that respect your time is the ability to save. Now, there's no consistency in this whatsoever across games. Some games have checkpoints. Some games, like you do a run, you can't save it at all. Some games have an option for like an Iron Man mode. Some games let you save anywhere. Some games have liberal checkpoints. Some games have, auto saves. So panel co-hosts, can you think of anything anything else related to saving that makes it is related to saving, like good or bad? Because go ahead.
We're a panel now, are we?
I don't know. Co-host, panel, round table. I guess we are a panel. I mean, we've always been a panel.
In fact,
this is the
night. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Julie.
What I was going to say is this is the most professional I felt this entire on this podcast so far. But yes, let's carry on.
I figured since it was my topic, and it's kind of a broad, weird topic, I figured I should lead. So I kind of feel like we're kind of doing a kind of debate or whatever, but we're not really doing a debate. But I wanted to say, do you guys have any other thoughts about the act of saving, like good or bad? Okay, go ahead, Julie.
In fact, Spaz and I talked about this while he was streaming after your stream.
Mm-hmm.
And the deal is, it was on sale, and so I bought Red Dead Redemption. I've always thought, oh, well, hey, cowboys, shooty things. Now, in Red Dead Redemption, the way you save, other than like auto saves or something, is you have to like camp out and get your little fire going and your horse is there and saying, hey, got anything to eat? But you can't do it in town. And that always kind of irritated me because it's like, okay, you got to ride out of town for quite a ways. And I'm used to like the Skyrim thing that says, okay, I'm going to save right here. I'm also
and you can't do that in this game.
You can't camp out in town is the deal. Go ahead.
Sorry, go. So my question is, you can only save while you're camping. That's when you save.
Yes.
Okay.
That's the idea. But the thing is, if you're in town, you have to, I mean, it's not that big an inconvenience. You have to ride out of town a ways. You can't just like step over the borderline or something. You got to ride out of town, pull your horse over to the side of the road, and then pitch your tent or your campfire or whatever. So if you're out and about, that's fine. But, Spaz what he had to say about this was that, well, when you're in town, there's a lot of things, and this is when Spaz will say, I never said that. The gist I got from the conversation was that if you're in town, for example, like in Red Dead Redemption, and a lot of quests and events all take place and interact with one another, if you were to like camp out in town and save there, it might cause a problem. So it's not quite like Skyrim where, I can save whatever I want. I can shoot the town guard, wait till I'm not aggroing anybody, and then save. So that's just a game I've started to play, and I'm not used to that type. And Spaz explained it. Once he explained it, I said, well, yeah, okay, that makes sense. And I've just started playing Red Dead Redemption. So, I mean, for all I know, everything is interconnected to somebody else. It's like, did you slug the bartender? Well, you can't do this quest. So that's just a new mechanic I've never experienced before.
That sounds really super annoying. That sounds like a bad example of respecting your time, honestly.
Well, I understood why they do it. I'm just used to either like on platformers, let's say, okay, there's checkpoints. I understand it's a platformer, it makes sense. Or in Skyrim, you save wherever you want. Or in Minecraft, if you're making a Japanese city, and which I was doing, because I lived in the Orient for a long time, and you save wherever you're at. And I'm just used to things like that. I'm not used to, okay, got to go camp out someplace.
It's just, I don't know. That bugs the fuck out of me. Excuse my language.
Really, did you mean RDR1 or RDR2 jetzt now?
Oh, 1. 2 isn't out on
okay.
Switch.
Yeah, I figured she was talking about 1 since that's the one on the Switch.
It's the one on the Switch because I have an angry parrot behind me who has come to view this computer as her computer and literally throws things at me with deadly accuracy, and now has learned to somehow thump her cage really loudly. And I don't know what she's doing, because every time I turn around, she's staring at me saying, I didn't do anything. So, and it's super annoying. So
I'm not saying you're how do I say? I'm not saying your parrot is a sociopath, but I think it might be.
Well, the problem is this particular type of parrot is really smart. Her brand of parrot is like as smart as a 5-year-old. So, it's like people say, does she know when she tells you good night? Does she know what she means? I said, yes, she does. Because if I don't go to bed on time, she'll say at one point, shut the light and go to bed. I was so shocked. I said, yes, ma'am. So,
hey, Julie, Jose in the chat says in RDR1, he seems to remember you can save in town by finding a bed and sleeping. Have you tried that?
no, I haven't. Thank you for the tip. I have just started. I just got through the tutorial, and I haven't tried doing that.
Okay.
That's a great tip. Thank you very much, and greatly appreciated. Our internet kept going out and off and on today, so I switched over to my phone, so I can't see the chat right now. So,
are you still on the phone? Are you still on your phone?
I had to switch back to the phone. Yeah.
Oh, you sound pretty darn good for being on the phone. That's great.
Well, I got a different headset, and
that's probably why. Yeah.
and a different position in the house, and afterwards we can. Maybe it's time for a new internet provider.
Hope you have the option.
Oh yes.
So I thought we'd talk about good examples and bad examples of this of saving mechanics, and one of the reasons I'm showing Starfleet 2 is because it has autosaves every so often, but you can also save whenever you want. So it's got like double layer saving, and for a game as complex as this, I think that's fantastic. So I think this is a good example of a game respecting your time by allowing you to save anywhere. Julie, you brought up Skyrim. That is also an excellent example because you can pretty much save anywhere. I mean, there are a lot of games that let you save at any time and anywhere. This is not an unusual mechanic. But do any come to mind that stick out for you guys besides those I've already mentioned?
Well, one important thing about Skyrim, and that is anybody who knows Skyrim knows that there are two classes in Skyrim. There's stealth archer and everything else. And when I try and go through and play a mage, just a pure mage, the important thing about being able to save anywhere is there's one really difficult mage quest. It's like, okay, I know you're a level 1 mage, you're going up against Saruman, good luck. The only way, and you introduced me to the term save scumming, and the only way to get through this is to save scum. So that's why I appreciate what Skyrim does and save anywhere. And yes, now I save scum like a lot.
I'm a big fan of save scumming, personally. I'm a huge fan of save scumming. I can also think of some games that don't do this well. While you guys are maybe thinking of some examples, I can rattle off a few that I thought didn't do this well. So Chris brings up Doom 2016, and you're absolutely right. I'd forgotten about that one, but that has the checkpoints, and the checkpoints are a little too far apart. And I was going to bring up, even though I love this game to death, RoboCop Rogue City has a terrible save system.
Oh, I remember. It's janky, to say the least.
It's too far apart. The checkpoints are way too far apart. And not only that, and this might be just a Steam problem, the saves don't sync up properly for some reason, even though it has cloud support. Like the saves I have on my PC, for some reason, are different than the ones I have on my laptop. I don't know why. But also, yeah, the saves on RoboCop Rogue City are not great, even though I love that game to death. That's like one of my very few complaints about that game. One game that is probably there are probably more games that I can't stand in this regard, but the one that I can't stand in this regard is flight sim that was on the PS3 and the Xbox 360. It's called Birds of Steel. Now that is an excellent console flight sim. Seriously. It's got dynamic campaigns for all the maps, and the game has a lot of maps, and it's got dynamic campaigns for all the maps. That's great, right? You can't save during a campaign at all. You can't save. And these campaigns, as you would think, take hours. As any good dynamic campaign does. You cannot save. You can only save. The only saving it does is if you're playing like one of the scripted campaigns. And, it saves in between the missions, blah, blah, blah. But during the dynamic campaigns, you can't save between missions at all. It's all or nothing. I'm still baffled by this. It really, really sad. It really makes me sad. Because it's a great flight sim and I love a good dynamic campaign. And I actually did at one point invest a couple hours in one of the dynamic campaigns, and it's really good. Like, it's a really good dynamic campaign system. It's just it doesn't save. Like, what the fuck were they thinking? Excuse my language, but what the F were they thinking? A game that takes hours to play and you can't save? It just, it crushes me because it's such a good game. It's got so much content, and it's a lovely game that just wrecked me because you can't save at all. I don't know if were one of you guys going to bring up No Man's Sky at all, because Chris just did. And
not specifically a No Man's Sky, but that's a topic I've thought about several times now. It's it's so complex to say to really say that the save mechanics of a game are a problem. I mean, I very much do get the example you brought up, Brian, but honestly, as long as you are able to save when you have to end something, so if you have to leave your computer for some reason, it's okay in that regard, especially in a dynamic campaign. But there are other games where I really, really hate it. It's a very, very complex topic, and I don't really think I would even dare to give a definitive answer on that.
The problem with No Man's Sky, having played quite a bit of it, is you have to. The only way to really save, there are several ways, but if you're like on a planet, you have to go back to your ship, get in and out of the ship to establish a save point. There are things where you can lay down for a save point, but sometimes it gets to be kind of a pain.
Yeah, I agree.
And I'm used to not being able to save in MMOs, but what the problem there becomes is a safe logout point, because I played EVE Online for like 6-7 years. And the problem is...
I know what you mean, yeah.
It's like, man, just let me mine and do my thing. It's like, okay, I'm not going to mine anymore. Get your own damn or make your own damn spaceship. And that threat works really well if you're in one of these little black holes, or if you're in zero null sec space. It's just like, fine, get somebody else to mine. But still, it's like, all I want to do is listen to the hum of the lasers. And I even wrote an article back when dinosaurs roamed the earth, and I got paid for writing about video games, called Zen and the Art of Asteroid Mining in EVE Online. And
I bet you someone has made that sound effect and put it on loop, like EVE mining beams for 9 hours. Because there's all that kind of stuff on YouTube. Like if you look up, Enterprise D engine room loop for 9 hours, you can find that shit.
Sure.
Yeah. So I bet you someone's taken the mining laser sound from EVE and made a loop video out of it. I bet you someone has.
Oh my god.
In my case, I have PTSD really, really bad, and I used to do this ASMR stuff to fall asleep, but now I've got a parrot who'll say, if I try and do this, she says, "Good night, good night, good night." Okay, good night, good night.
I wish I could do that sort of thing. Like I've got those kind of sound effects on loop, but then I'm like, if I'm listening to like something like The Bridge, I'm like, oh, I remember that episode. Oh, I remember that. Like I keep thinking about like,
Well,
it just it fires off my brain.
It also works in reverse, as if I lived in Chicago in a kind of okay part of town that turned into a really not okay part of town. And if you get used to falling asleep to the sirens and the automobile crashes, and you suddenly move out to the suburbs, I can't sleep. It's so quiet. And they're actually in Farscape. There's an episode like that where one of the characters says, "I can't sleep without the hum of the engines." The other character says, "Well, welcome to Earth. Wait till it's summertime and the air conditioners start."
Yeah.
But it gets the problem with EVE Online is I just want to play the game, and there's no safe place. And unlike it can always take a while. Unlike strategically placed safe rooms in Left 4 Dead. So it's like
I think MMOs are a different animal because they're persistent online all the time. So like I mean that kind of makes more sense. That I kind of feel like if you're going into an MMO, you're going to be investing some time, and so a lot of good MMOs I think will just, if you stop somewhere that's safe, you can just stop there and quit. And provide plenty of places to do that. So like Lord of the Rings Online, for example, is great at that. Like there's none of the areas are too far apart. And you could also kind of teleport around or take a horse, So some MMOs are good at that. But EVE Online is its own kind of special hell.
Unlike somebody who does it really well, which is, at least as far as that part, logging out safe, as Final Fantasy 17, where I can say, okay, I am going to log out now. I am recalling directly in front of our great big huge oriental pagoda in the middle of an instant city. Have a nice day for yourself.
I presume you mean 14, unless you're
14. Yes, 14.
Unless you're from the future. Which,
I am in fact in the future, and I mean Final Fantasy 15 online. Yes, I mean 14, and so we have there. You can recall from anywhere, but on the other hand, unlike in EVE Online, nobody's trying to murder you every time you go to the bathroom or get a cup of coffee.
Oh man. Can you guys think of any more examples of good or bad saving before we move on to the next thing I wanted to talk about?
I got it.
I will.
David, okay. Jacob, you go first. Then, if you're brief, Jacob, you go first. Then, David.
I want to briefly mention that I'm very much glad we moved away from tying items to saves. In most games.
Oh god.
Like in Resident Evil.
Oh wow. Yeah, I've heard about that. I haven't really played games that have that, but I've heard that there are games that do that. So wait, in Resident Evil you have to have a specific item to save?
Yes, the consumable item you have to spend it. It's an ink ribbon that you put into so not only do you have specific save stations, so only specific places, you have to spend items to save. Which is a problem for several reasons, as you can imagine.
Yeah.
But one thing I can have, because the thing is, a lot of developers treat save scarcity as a component of difficulty, which I'm not so sure on.
I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I've never liked that. I've never ever liked that.
Even if for whatever reason you want to prevent save scumming, like FTL and Dark Souls have figured that out, 10 years ago. You can just have a save and quit option.
Yeah.
If you're that pedantic. Oh boy.
Yeah. Oh, I had forgotten about games that have like an in-game item that you need to save. I think I did play one that had that, but I cannot freaking remember now. So David, what were you gonna say?
First of all, I need to try a reference here with Jacob. Jack, do you remember what day it is today?
Oh boy.
Okay. Metal Gear Solid 2. It is. April 30th, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yes, I have had that spammed at me all of today. Yes. Carrying on.
Yeah. So, Metal Gear Solid 2 has an interesting way of saving. Normally, you call a phone number for saving.
What?
And yeah, it's Metal Gear. Don't overthink it. So yeah, you need.
What you do is you have like you have a bunch of like radio frequencies to all of your like support stuff, and one of them records your gameplay, i.e., makes saves for you.
What?
Yeah, so there's one point in the game where I was playing on the PlayStation 2 so many years ago where I learned how this game actually tracks progress. Okay, so there's a silencer for an AK you can find in a warehouse. So I walked in there and I was like, oh, yeah, I need to turn off the console for now. I can probably continue from here next time. When I started up the game next time from loading in, I didn't have the silencer and I was at the start of that room. It didn't save my X, Y, Z position like in many PC games from the olden days. So yeah, it mostly tracks when you are passing through doors. So when you switch rooms and stuff. So it was really interesting to see like but all the items I grinded back, all ammunition everything's gone. So yeah, and I learned something new that day. So yeah, if you're grinding for some items, if you need to resupply or whatever, make sure you switch room after you picked up everything. So yeah, that was annoying.
Oh God, I bet. Jeez Louise. Any other examples to talk about before we move on to the next part of this? All right. The next part I wanted to talk about in games that respect your time is games with short and quick sessions, short and quick missions. This goes beyond saving. This is built into the game itself. Like I'm going to bring up Warhammer Inquisitor, for example. The missions in that game, you can't save during them, but they're 5 minutes, maybe 6, 7, maybe. Those are, they're very quick. So I love that kind of thing because you can get like, if you have a little bit of time, you can get a little something done. If you have a lot of time, you can get more done. So I like that quick missions like that give you a choice. Another good example I wanted to bring up with this sort of thing is Bloody Rally Show. It's a racing game, yes, but it's a very fast racing game. Even if you have 3 laps, it's going to be 5 minutes, maybe, because it's just the laps aren't very long. And it's a very fast-paced game. So that's one of the reasons it's still my favorite. It's one of my favorite racing games. Because you can dive in and do a race and you're done in a few minutes. Trackmania is also good at that. I don't know if you guys have played the Trackmania games. They're a little more stunt focused. But you can do a daily race and they're usually 2 to 3 minutes long. And if you want, you can keep playing more, but if you just want to do a daily, it's just a few minutes. And that's it. So those are some of the games I thought that did a good job of respecting your time by making the missions, the sessions themselves really short and sweet. And if you die or lose or whatever, you're not going to really lose much, So that was another aspect of respecting your time that I thought was important, was quick. If there's no saving involved, then quick missions. That sort of thing, dude. So can you guys think of any games that hit that mark for you?
Absolutely. Yeah, of course.
Okay, Julie, I think you spoke first, so why don't you, if you don't mind, Thorsten, I think I heard Julie first. So Julie, why don't you go first?
Quickly, Deep Rock Galactic is number one.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. That's a very good one. Those missions don't. I mean, they can go a little long, but you're talking never more than 15 minutes. You know, even if you have a giant cave, they never go that long. That's a good one.
Second, any game with Doom and a number after it.
Well, I don't know. We were just talking about Doom 2016. It has a not a great checkpoint
I had
system.
more in mind like the earlier ones, Doom 1, Doom 2.
Yeah, I still think Doom 2 is the pinnacle of the series. Personally, I still think it's the best of them.
And
a lot of people agree.
Even though Nintendo doesn't pay me to say this, there are a lot of Doom games on Switch.
That's good.
But the thing is, and with the qualifier, I will state this. Star Trek Online, and here's the qualifier. If you log on during an event, they usually feature a TFO, which is like a space combat game. And it doesn't take any more like 5 minutes tops. And you can choose, it's good for reputation because you can choose from a list of every reputation you want in the game, right? And what happens during the event is that event is always populated with players and there is never a wait. So you got 5 minutes, log on, do the battle, log off. So during an event, that's the way to go. And I only usually go back during events.
Oh, okay, that's not bad. Because I remember the actual missions in Star Trek Online can drag a little bit.
Depending on which ones, when there's no event, the problem then becomes if some are more popular than others because people look for specific types of reputation points, or they're looking for if you've got in the fleet I'm in that has everything maxed out, then you're looking for the fleet points so you can get the Uber ship of Uberness and get it for free. So yes, you can just log in and only play the flying part of the game, which is what I do because the ground combat part is garbage.
Yeah, it absolutely is. Thorsten, what were you going to say?
In fact, that's what you did mention is in fact the most important thing I choose my games from. Also, I want results fast. Even if I've got a lot of time, I'm really a sucker for things happening fast. And the games I'm thinking of right now are of course both Mount and Blade games, or better all three, and both Bastard games. Because every mission Wild Bastards and Void Bastards. And, of course.
Of course.
No.
Yeah.
Because no mission does last longer than 10 to 15 minutes. Often they are much shorter. And
those are really quick games, which is honestly really nice.
I mean, you see immediately after a couple of minutes the results of what you did. Did you do something wrong, or did you do? Was it a good way you did something, and you don't have to wait hours to see. Oh man, I fucked up. That's one of the worst things I can even imagine in any game. One that is particularly good in that regard is Stellaris, because you may be 20 hours into one single session, and the game basically tells you after those 20 hours you fucked up in the first half hour, and that's probably one of the worst things any game can do, and that's one of the reasons I hate Stellaris so much. I mean, I get
There's a lot of reasons,
Many,
but
many.
that's one of them.
that's one of them. That's only one of them. There are many, many, many more. But anyway, that's something I really, really hate. And I want to mention another game in that regard. And if Spaz would be here, he would mention it with certainty. That's Genesis Alpha 1. It does basically the same in that regard. If you're doing something wrong, it tells you pretty early on that you fucked up. And not, let's say, 5 to 6 hours later.
I just thought of another good example of both of these things so far is Rebel Galaxy Outlaw, because the missions are pretty quick. If you only take one, the missions are pretty fast, maybe 5-10 minutes. But it also saves whenever you jump. I might also save when you do an autopilot too. So if you like exit to title, it'll like save the last place you were, so you don't really lose that much time. I think that's a good example. And I wanted to bring up another good example because I've been playing some old flight sims lately, and I've been playing these like some of the first Microprose games called Hellfire Ace and Spitfire Ace, and those are basically a string of missions.
Hellcat Ace and Spitfire Ace.
Yeah, those
Hellcat Ace and Spitfire.
Yeah, they came out in the early 80s, and there's basically a string of missions, and if you complete 5 of them, you get called an ace. But the difficulty ramps up with every one you win. But the missions themselves, 3 to 5 minutes. Basically, you're either trying to shoot down a plane or running away from a plane. That's it. Very simple and straightforward, but also really compelling. Like, they did a lot with very few graphics with those games. Like, really, really impressive for 1982, actually. But I thought those were good examples of games with quick missions where you're in and out and you don't feel like you're wasting time. A bad example I wanted to bring up, and I know I might get some heat for this, is Warframe. I for some reason I hate how long the missions take in that game. That's why it's one of the big reasons I don't play it. They don't feel quick. They drag. Like, wait, I have to do this now. I just can't play that game because, like, I'll start playing. I'm like, really, I got to do this for the next 10 minutes. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think Warframe is a bad example of a game that does not respect your time, because the missions just go ahead, David. If you want to say something, go ahead and say it. I mean, if you got something to say.
I'd rather save my energy for something else than Warframe.
You know what? That is entirely fair.
How does the line go? Hate is too strong an emotion to say for a game you dislike.
Oh, Chris brings up a obvious time sink and Elite Dangerous. Well, yeah, I guess that's a bad example of a game that doesn't respect your time, because unless you're flying to a close station, there is like no saving at all.
And even then, the actual game's objectives are make money, so you can make more money, so you can make more money.
Yeah,
it's
not like Jumpgate, where it has a leveling aspect where you have to get to level 8 to get these engines, or you have to get to level 9 to get this ship. It's just make more money, and once you made enough money, you're like, okay. That's all right.
There's nothing more frustrating to have invested 1 or 2 hours to get to some place just to get shot by some frustrated insult. that that was basically the moment I stopped playing the game. I really made a lot of money in a fucking trading mission, and a few kilometers out of a fucking space station, I get shot into pieces by some asshole.
It's crazy because the original Elite games did a much better job of respecting your time. I feel like you could save all the time in those games.
Better.
And
with the exception of the first one,
especially the first one. Well, the first one was probably
the exception.
No, you could save on stations, but right?
Yes,
but the travel between stations was pretty fast in Elite 1. Like, you're not hovering around for 20 minutes or whatever. It's like even with combat, it's like 5 to 10 minutes between stations and Elite. So
exactly.
Yeah. So but it's so amazing how even the people, I know we're going on a rant here, even the people who were behind those original Elite games worked on Elite Dangerous, and they somehow screwed it up so badly. I still don't understand. I still don't understand how that happened. I wish I got it. I just thought of another good example of a game respecting your time. Strike Fighters 2. Have any of you guys played Strike Fighters 2 at all? Am I the only one?
No.
Okay. It's a flight sim made by the guy who spearheaded European Air War. What's amazing about it, and I wish more flight sims did this, it drops you off maybe 5 minutes from your objective, whether it's to shoot down some planes or to bomb some tanks or whatever. It drops you off a few minutes from there, and then you do your thing, whether you have to, fight other planes or weave your way to the target or whatever. You do your thing, and when you get a mission objective, when you get, mission completed, you hit escape, and then it just assumes you flew home safely. So you can get some good flight simming action in 5 to 10 minutes with Strike Fighter 2. And it's an excellent game. I wish I could recommend people buy it, but it's $100 for the complete version, and it's pretty much been abandoned. Well, at least on the PC. The mobile version is thriving. The mobile version is absolutely thriving. But the PC version of Strike Fighter 2 is fantastic. I could recommend it if you're kind of a diehard and you need to own all the flight sims. But since it's been abandoned, it's kind of tough to recommend it, unfortunately. Which is a shame, because it really does respect your time well. I'm trying to think. I had another thought about a game that does a good job of what we're talking about, but now it's exited my brain. Do you guys have any other examples of good or bad?
Bad example.
Go for it.
The first ever quest. Make you do a corpse run to get anything back. You bastards. It's like, okay, they bring you back and you're naked, and if you're not high enough level, you got to sit in town and beg people to drag your dead ass back to town.
Wait, they can do that? People can drag your corpse?
Well, I am told I spent most of my time running and dying. And on the other show that I'm on, they played it a lot longer than I did. I got frustrated and said, I'm done. But they claimed you could drag your corpse. I don't know if that's true or not. But yes, when they make you drag your corpse. Now, there is a drawback to the graveyard thing, but that's why you don't play on PvP servers. A graveyard thing in a PvP service, people camp out there and shoot you in a graveyard. But other than that, if you're on a PvE server, it's just, I died. I've still got all my stuff. I'm going to go back. And so.
Chris brings up the Diablo games. I don't know if I've ever had a problem with the save systems in the Diablo games.
Kinda.
Maybe
not a bad example.
Yeah, maybe the first one. maybe the first one, because yeah, the second and third and fourth ones aren't so bad in that regard. But the first one, I guess in the second one you can only save in town also. That's true. That is kind of annoying. I mean, I kind of get why they do it, but it is like, risk versus reward. But yeah, that one's a little frustrating. I just thought of a bad one. Privateer 2. I don't know if you guys remember Privateer 2. I mean, I'm already coming in this game hating it, but let me explain. So, to fly around in Privateer 2, you go to a jump point, and fair enough. But if you get attacked at a jump point, you can't run away, and you can't jump until all the bad guys are killed. And so, what could have been a 5-minute transit is now a 30-minute fight. Because there might be a giant shuttle out there that you had to whittle away at with your pop gun because it's heavily armed, but you can't leave. You can't leave until all the enemies are dead. And it's so maddening. It's such a maddening design decision. It turns what might be a 5-minute run to a 40-minute run because you got to do all this fighting. And then
you have to play more Privateer 2.
and the other bad thing about Privateer 2, this is so weird. So when you get to a planet, you can't just land. You have to get close enough to the planet to land. But they never put you close enough to the planet to land. They put you where you have to fly 10 minutes roughly to get close enough to the planet to land. Now the weird thing about that, if you turn away from the planet, so you're still kind of going toward it, but it's not on screen, the game moves more quickly because it's not rendering the planet, so you can save yourself some time.
What?
Yeah. But when you're heading right toward the planet, it slows the game down because the game has to render the planet. But when you turn away from the planet, approach it, kind of from the side. Yeah, kind of.
Can you reverse into the planet?
I've never tried that. Honestly, I've never tried that. I don't know. I don't remember.
That sounds like the sort of stupidity that game would require you to pull.
I don't remember if you can go into reverse in Privateer 2.
No, you can't.
I don't think you can.
Also couldn't.
I don't think you can.
No, you can't. And you also couldn't ram your ship into something, sadly.
Oh. Yeah.
I know exactly what you are talking about now. Now, you are right.
Now, friends, if you want to get the proper Privateer 2 experience, go find the video on YouTube. That's just the videos. It's like a 2-hour movie. And it's the
cutscenes.
Yeah, it's a bananas movie, but it's got so many good actors in it. You're like, all right. It's got like fucking everybody in that thing. You can find that on YouTube. Don't play the actual game. Don't play the actual game. It is terrible.
You play the first one.
Yeah, the first one's a lot better. Even and like any Wing Commander game, the mission, like the transit, can drag a little bit sometimes. But you can only save like when you land, which is true of a lot of those space games. But in Privateer 1 is, my God, a zillion times better than Privateer 2. I think I'm out of examples. What about you guys? Can you think of any more?
I may have something.
Go for it.
But it's mostly a blanket of game. Not well, I'm going to talk about some negativity of some games, and then but it's mostly a blanket, and it's mostly multiplayer games.
Okay.
So I really like combined arms in third-person games. If we have the option, I want to be able to go on foot, drive a tank, fly a helicopter, fly a plane. If you can do everything of that in the game, it's super cool. But what if I want to specialize within one thing? Let's say I want to fly that helicopter, or I want to drive that tank.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, let's start out a match. Let's everybody dash for the vehicles. The first one who gets into it runs away and probably dies on the other side of the map.
Oh.
And then you have to wait for 10 minutes for it to respawn, and then the whole cycle continues. There's so many games where I've seen that happen over and over again. And there's also this annoying thing, especially in Arma, where the maps are gigantic.
Oh,
Where, okay, I want to drive a tank. Okay, let's grab a tank for the home base, and then you drive for about 30 minutes or so. Then you get to the front lines. Okay, let's scout for units, and then an ATGM hits you and blows you up. So yeah, it's
I wondered if you were going toward frickin' Arma, because that's one of the reasons I don't play Arma. It's like I just want to jump in and do something, but no, the maps are so big and the missions take fucking forever. It's like I can't dedicate my time to you, and I wish I could, because there's so much good content for the Arma games, like random missions, and there's so many good mods and maps and things. There's so much good stuff for that,
and mechanics.
Yeah. I could see why people love those games. I get it, but I just every time I think of starting it, it's like, oh God, it's so long. I don't have it in me to do it.
I have an really, 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 really bad game that doesn't respect anybody's time and is a giant pain in the ass. And that is, and I interview, and I know I know some people say, oh my God, not him. I interviewed Rocket Hall once.
Who?
The guy behind DayZ.
Oh,
Rocket Hall.
I've never played
the guy behind DayZ.
I've never played DayZ, but I know of it.
Yeah, and I've interviewed him a couple times actually, and Dr. Bartle, Richard Bartle, who invented, he and Roy Trebshaw invented games, multi-user dungeon mods, and he always said, "Oh well, a game with permadeath will never be successful." Well, DayZ's still around; it's got permadeath. And when I talked to him, he said, yeah, the average, and it was right there on the front page. He said, yeah, the average lifespan in DayZ is 90 minutes. And I said, oh, come on. And when I played that game, it's like my average lifespan, even when I was in a group of advanced players, my average lifespan was 15 minutes, in which case it's permadeath, go back, start over from scratch. Pain in the giant ass. Now, of course, my problem was also when I was in a group of experienced players, they say, oh, we'll set the poor little woman up over here and she'll be okay. And then we're going to go over here to a bear garden camp with gun emplacements and all the rest. But it was very frustrating. It was one of the few times I've ever played a permadeath game, and it has absolutely no respect for anybody's time.
Yeah, that sounds really. I mean, I'm glad that game is there for people who like it, for people who want that sort of thing. But yeah, it's really, yeah. I guess the whole point in talking about this is that I'm glad there are games for people who want to invest 2 to 3 hours ago. You know, I'm glad, there's DCS and that sort of thing. But I don't have that kind of time anymore. I don't have that kind of attention span anymore. So it's like, I need something quick that I can be in and out if necessary, And we gave a lot of good examples today, I think, you guys. Does anyone have any more before we wrap up? No? If you don't, that's fine. If you don't, that's fine. Or do you?
Yeah, kind of, because I was probably aiming to continue from where I left off.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
And it's pretty simple where it's going to end, because you pretty much mentioned the DCS in there. And I'm so happy we have nuclear option. Just get me into a plane and just get me to fly.
Nuclear option is uncharacteristically good, yes.
And besides, if you really want to get to the higher tiers of plane, you can just change the values for your escalation match and get to that nuke bomb on it. So, I mean, yeah, I really like that. You have so much control in nuclear option.
Hang on a second. We're having some issues. Okay, apologies, everybody. Voice meter, it doesn't usually do this, but voice meter took a dump. And when it does that, it gets all choppy and robotic. I hope I fixed it.
Yeah, it's worked. No, it's.
I haven't. Oh my God. Okay, hang on. Let me try again.
I think on that note, we're going to start wrapping up, I feel.
Okay, how's it sound now? Do I still sound robotic?
Clear as
Better?
day.
Nope. Clear now.
Okay, let's hope it stays like that. Sorry about that, folks. The joys of doing it live. I don't remember the last time VoiceMeter did that during a show. It's been a while. So, I mean, good job, VoiceMeter. So that's going to do it for today, my friends. We don't know what we're going to do next week. We're working on a topic. I had an idea in mind, but it didn't work out. So we're going to think of something else. So have a great day, everyone. Be safe, be well, take care of each other. Please get vaccinated while you still can. Get your shots. Is it robotic again?
Yes.
God, what is going on here?
You're laryngitis.
Yeah, get your shots, wear your mask. Sorry about that, folks. Thank you as always to our patrons who literally keep the lights on around here and pay for things like Restream. And don't forget to wear your helmet. We'll see you back here tomorrow, everyone. Have a great